Hello everyone, my name is Lioness and welcome to my fashion studio. Today I will be showing you guys how I created my birthday dress this year, and I will also be showing you guys how I altered my very own sewing pattern so you guys can sew this dress too. This dress was inspired by a gorgeous design by Lioness. They came up on my Instagram feed and I saw Elsa Hosk in this baby pink dress and I just fell in love with it. And that is the best part about knowing how to sew, is you can see anything on anyone at any price point and just sew it. And you can also make it in the color and fabric of your choice, which is it just doesn't get any better than that. So this is your sign to learn how to sew. I love this detailing right here. It looks so romantic, and I'm like the biggest romantic ever, so I thought it was really cute. I wanted to tweak it just a little bit, so I went with this emerald green color, and emerald green is my birthstone. So it just went perfectly for a whole fun birthday look. If you're new to my channel, my name is Lioness. I'm a pattern maker and a video essayist. So the first thing that we gotta do is I'm gonna grab my very own project planner. You can get this at the link in my bio. It's really nice because sewing can get very messy, and especially if you're sewing a bunch of things at one time, you need to stay organized. So this will help you do that. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button to know when I have new videos up. Don't forget to like, share, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more fashion and movie talk. All right, first things first, we got to do some research on what we're making. And like I said, this dress is from Lioness clothing. And here are some pictures and the front and the back. All right, so first thing, I'm going to take my own sewing pattern. It is the Vampy Bodycon dress sewing pattern. You can get all my sewing patterns at the link in my bio. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to alter this pattern, which I am doing right here, and I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial on how I did that. This sewing pattern is a bodycon dress, but we need to tweak it just a little bit to fit the design that we're going for. So here is the original sewing pattern of mine, and the difference between this and the dress we're trying to make is, first of all, the neckline. We are going to be changing the neckline and leaving out the wing of this pattern. And a quick lesson in necklines, this one is called the Sabrina neckline. This design used to be known as a boat or bateau neckline, but after the success of Audrey Hepburn's film Sabrina, it became known as the Sabrina neckline, and it went on to become a very popular look in the mid-50s. Audrey Hepburn liked that it covered up her collarbone and brought attention to her shoulders.
The rain's very important because that's when Paris smells its sweetest.
Alright, so I'm going to be teaching you guys how I altered this pattern. Normally I would be using this white pattern paper with dotted markings, but for the sake of this video, so you guys can see very clearly, I'm going to be using this brown craft paper. Let's go over everything we need. First, my sewing pattern, scissors, tape, a tracing wheel, a pencil and a pen, just in case you want to erase some lines that can be distracting, and lastly, a ruler. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our front pattern piece, and if we take a look at our picture here, you see that the shoulder line goes up about 2 inches and then it straightens out across her collarbone. My pattern has a crew neckline, so let's get into altering this pattern. The first thing that we're going to do is place our pattern over our craft paper. Make sure that you have a lot of space around your pattern. Next, you're going to tape down your pattern. Now you're going to take your ruler and put it along the shoulder line, and you're going to measure 2 3/8 of an inch and just mark that. Now what I'm gonna do is draw a line along the fold line of the pattern. And the reason we're making this line is so that it can help us make a perfectly straight line for the neckline. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up your ruler along the line we just made so it perfectly matches. And then at the same time, making sure your ruler is hitting the mark we just made. This is going to give us a completely straight line. The next thing we have to do is create the facing for this neckline, and what you're going to do is measure 1.5 inches from the line we just made and draw another line. Then what we're going to do is this line that I'm pointing to right here, we're going to fold along that line. Now you're going to take your tracing wheel and trace along the 1.5 inch line we just made. And you're going to trace along the fold line. And then right along the armhole there, and then the shoulder line. Now we're going to unfold our paper and we are going to draw along the parts we just traced. Next, we're going to cut along those lines. And that is it. We are all finished altering our pattern. So when you sew, you're just going to fold in that facing and sew along the shoulder line just like that. Don't forget to repeat the same steps for the back pattern piece. And so when you're sewing, you're going to fold in the facing just like that. And then you're gonna take the back piece, put it over the front piece, and just sew like you normally would when making a bodycon dress. So you put it over each other like that, and then sew at the shoulder line. And then since we did the facing, the neckline is finished. Now we're going in and cutting out the pieces. Another thing that I did to alter this pattern is I made it longer. I added about 7 inches to the bottom to both the front and the back. You can see I did this here. And I did this because, as you can see, the Lioness design has ruching. So in order to get this look, you need to lengthen the end of the dress so that you have more fabric to gather, which is what I'm doing right here. Now we're moving on to the flower on the dress, which is made out of the same fabric. And while I was making my birthday dress, I was on a time crunch. So I was trying to figure out a way to make a fabric flower very fast. So I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So what we're going to need is shears, which is fabric scissors, a fabric marker, a ruler, a clear one like this, thread, and hand sewing needles. All right, so our first step is we have to create a perfect circle, and to do that, you're going to fold your fabric once vertically and then once horizontally. And my piece of fabric was about 15 inches by 11 inches, but this all depends on how big you want your fabric flower to be. Now we're gonna go to the corner that has no raw edges, and this is the point that we're going to measure from. I am going to measure 5.5 inches, but like I said before, it's all up to you and how big you want your fabric flower to be. So now I'm just going around and measuring 5.5 inches from that point, and I'll eventually get this circular shape. And now I'm just going to cut it out. And there we go, we have our perfect circle. Now we're gonna take our thread and needle, and you're gonna position your hand to kind of look like a claw, and you're gonna put it right in the middle of that circle, and you're gonna start twisting. And you're gonna see that it's already looking like a flower in the middle, and you're gonna take your other hand and just use it to position the fabric in a way where it's going to end up looking like a rose. And when you start to see a flower shape form is when you're going to start going in with your thread and needle and sewing it so that it will keep its shape. And you want to sew it in a way where the thread will be hidden in all of the folds of the fabric, so it won't look like it's sewn together. And then when you're done, you want to make sure that your thread is underneath the flower and that the knot is not seen from the front. And there we have it. There is our fabric flower. Anyone can make this, I promise you guys. And look how professional it looks. I'm honestly amazed. All right, on to the next step of the dress. I am just taking a rectangle that is about 6 inches by 45 inches. And this is pretty easy part. You just want to drape it on your dress and just hand sew it in these two places. This part is pretty fun. You can get very creative with it and decide how you want this piece of fabric to look draped on the dress. You can have it very low on the hip, very high on the hip. You can have it very tight, very loose, whatever your creative heart desires. And then you're going to take your two fabric flowers and hand sew those on. And as for the hem, I fully intended on hemming this dress, but I really like the way this fabric looks with a raw edge and decided to not hem it. All right, y'all, that is the process of creating my birthday dress. Now let's check out the final look.
I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. You call my bluff, I won't pick up, I let it ring. Record your voice so I can listen back again. Sorry, I'm not perfect, but I knew that I wouldn't be. I guess it's for the best, you know the worst in me. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood.
Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Juliana Zinchenko. I'm a pattern maker and a video essayist. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell button to know when I have new videos up, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok for more fashion and movie talk.
Do you wanna take me back? All of our broken plans so we can start again. Wanting down a second chance.